Hi, I'm Julie, and welcome to my class called Bloom. The first thing I'm going to do is go through the supplies you need for this class. And I also invite you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos that I've been offering to you. Because when you like and subscribe, it helps keep my channel growing, and that keeps me enables me to add more videos. So anyhow, if you buy the kit, you can do so by looking down in the description, and you'll see the link to the class kit to where you can purchase it. And that's what I'm going to go through, the items that are in your kit. You're going to get, number one, it will be wrapped up carefully. You're going to be getting a little mini pastel palette with lots of colors so that you can choose the colors that you want to make your piece out of. It's wrapped up like this. You're going to be getting your pre-cut shapes, and these three of them are on sanded and shiny, and one of them is on shiny shrink plastic, and I just want to go through that right now as to how I did that. I did shiny, and then I took fine, the tongue of this is the bail, and the tongue of it right here, this portion right here, I sanded. Going in all different directions with fine grit sandpaper, okay? That enables you to have the option of coloring the tongue on the bail. The bail folds over like so, and the cord goes through it, and then this peeks out. This is where everything's attached, and it peeks out under it, and you can either keep it clear and put dots on it like we're going to put on this, or you can color it. So that's how we did that. And on this, the leaf pattern on the shiny side, I misted that with Krylon brand, glitter, shimmer. They make a blast. This is the shimmer. And the color I used was opal, and I misted this gently with my, keeping about 14 inches away from that. And I'm not going to demo that because I'm inside, and I don't want to get glitter all over my camera lens. So I did that on the shiny side of it, so that I have that option of seeing glitter on it. And then I have the sanded side that I can put colored pencils on and pastels without the glitter crystals getting in the way. And in the kit, it has an assortment of findings to assemble our bead. It will have glue, E6000 glue, and it will have a rubber black cord to as a necklace that we string our large beads onto and use glue and bead caps. So that is our kit. That's what comes in your kit, okay? And if you wish to make further pieces with this, simply take a piece of copy paper, and you can see that I've done this with this. That's why I'm using it as a sample. You can just outline these before you shrink them down, and there you have a template, okay, of your shapes. So now I'm going to go through what you need to supply. You're going to need the pink Shrinkets bezel mold. Going to need a wooden block and a container to shrink things in. And then I highly recommend a cup warmer. Now, and gloves to protect your fingers. This is right here. I sell this whole compartment, though the wooden pieces is bigger. This is from my own collection, and it's all crappy, but the one that I sell in the kit. This is called the Deluxe Hand Forming Kit. And if you really want to get into hand forming, which this class is about, we're hand forming a bead, and we're forming a little bit of the leaf beads. And so that's what this class is about, and this is the hand forming kit. It's called the Deluxe one. The Deluxe one comes with this cup warmer. The regular hand forming kit comes with gloves, a block, and this silicone bowl that I use all the time. The silicone bowl, when you are semi-heat resistant material, it's the same material that the molds are made out of, and when you put your bead in here, as you'll see me demoing it, it keeps the heat contained in here so that your shape heats uniformly and retains the shape versus getting all wonky because one area is cooling, not getting as much heat as the other area when it's a large piece and you're shrinking it without the mold, and you're having difficulty keeping it all heated at once. A bowl really helps. So that's my Deluxe hand forming kit. The Deluxe is the one that comes with the heat warmer. Oh, and I forgot. I digress here. The little tool here comes in your kit for forming your beads. Okay, so that's very, very helpful to have that, but you can do this without that because you're going to need a heat gun. And you will have your heat gun, and if you're a shrinker, you know that you have your heat gun to shrink your beads. So this is a heat gun, and as I said, the mold that you need. And then you're going to need some colored pencils. I'm just adding little designs to it. These are colors. I'm using an aqua, an orchid color, a periwinkle blue, and a vermilion orange. Those are the colors I'm going to be using. And a Sharpie Extreme. I like the new Sharpie Extreme. I don't know if this is new or not. It's been out for a while because it doesn't fade. It's just great. And then pliers to open and close jump rings, chain nose, round nose. And then something to cut your fire line with, because your kit comes with fire line, okay? And a lot of people go to the dollar store and they use these little Teflon scissors until they dull out, and then they buy more. Or this is a fancy bead zapper by Beadsmith, and this is a this is a fishing line cutter, and that's what fire line is. It basically is fishing line. So, yes, fire line does come in your kit. And it's 6-pound fire line that we're using. Let's see. I think that's it. So let's get started. So we're ready to start coloring our beads, and I'm not going to be using the little mini kit that comes in your kit. It's a little tinier version of these bigger palettes that I have. So yours is a baby little sampler. It's perfect for a class, and there'll be plenty for you to use later. So the first thing I'm going to color is my leaf beads. And I've got that green on there because I used it as a template. So I'm going to erase some of that off. Clean that up, but it doesn't matter too much because I am going to be using green to outline this. Get that off there. And then I'm going to take a little yellow, put it down here at the tip, and I am on the frosted side. Then I'm coming over into this nice yellowy green. Circular motions, rubbing it in, then heading on up to turquoise, blending it over my green. And then into blue up here. Okay, easy peasy. Now I'm going to use my colored pencil, and I'm going to show you outlining on beads. You don't have to do this if you don't have a steady hand. First thing I'm doing is burnishing quite a bit off of my pencil so that I can have a broad pencil line to come over here and add long strokes on the perimeter of this. Notice how I'm doing like this on it. I'm not doing little chicken scratches. If you do not have a steady enough hand, don't do this because it will look insincere. All right, so I've done that, and I'm coming down here with a vein. And then I'm coming in here with more veins, and I'm using the periwinkle blue for this. And I'm making sure that I line those up. And I'm coming in with my Sharpie and adding fun dots here. There. That's done, and I'm setting that aside. Now I'm going to do my flower, and I'm going to wash my finger off in my finger bowl. And I'm going to do my flower pink and orange. So coming in here with wonderful pink, nice hot pink. And I'm going to put just a little bit of orange on the tips out here. Coming back and reinforcing the pink. And then I'm going to come in with orange and outline, same way. Burnished it off, so I have a nice broad tip. Now, if you choose not to do this outlining, your piece is going to look just as adorable. This is a technique I used to do on everything I did way at the beginning. And this is one of my older classic designs. It's a timeless piece. And I wanted to introduce it to the YouTube channel. So I thought I would introduce it, doing it the way I had done it when I first introduced this design. And that was outlining the beads. So I'm going to come in here with this wonderful orchid color. I'm going to keep my designs very simple because there's a lot going on with the layers of this. Putting black Sharpie dots around this here. It's just very classic Julie. And then I'm coming in with this tongue shape. Fingers washed off again. Erase any lines because I had used this piece as a template. Okay, and I've used greens and warm oranges and pink, so now I want to use blues and purples. And I'm going to make my blue and purple. My purple with blue and pink. I blended, not this dark one, but this one and this one. This is a bit dark, because remember your colors intensify 50%. So I'm going to outline this with a periwinkle blue. And I'm going to sharpen my pencil. And put a pattern on this. I'm coming down here and coming down here. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to come here and I'm here. I'm going to make sure I follow that line exactly. And then up here and up here so that these are even. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to come here. So this is a random kind of spider webby pattern that I've done. Okay, now I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit. Make sure my hands are clean, and I'm coming in with my bail. Flip this over. Now, this is the sanded area, so we can design it just like we did these here. This area down here, not the shiny area, only the sanded area. And you don't have to do this. You could just keep this a nice translucent white color and put black dots on it. But I'm going to make it look like my leaf. But I'm going to do the opposite. Where I did yellow at the tip, I'm going to come in with blue at my tip. Then I'm coming in with green. Back with blue. And I'm going to outline with the same color. Now, see how the colored pencil will not go on the shiny, but the minute it hits the sanded surface, it will adhere. And I'm coming down with the vein. And that's going to look like so. I'm not going to put the black dots in there. And the minute I said I'm not going to, I did. Now we ended up with no lights because my doggie stepped on the button. Okay, so hang on. My doggie stepped, it's on a strip, and he stepped on the on and off button. Okay, so there we are. Now, we're gonna take this, because Sharpies will work on shiny surfaces, and we're gonna put little polka dots on this. Okay, that's going to be our bail. And we are ready to shrink. I will be demoing this using the cup warmer in the hand forming kit. The first thing I'm going to do is our little flower bead. It's just basic Shrinkets, and I'm going to be it doesn't have to be put in here, but I like to put it in here because then I can tilt this up and you guys can see me shrinking it. So I want to see the frosted side of this bead when I'm looking down on it. And so I'm going to put the frosted side up in the bead where I can see it. The frosted side is on the side that I can see it. If I wanted shiny, I would put shiny up. Okay, so I'm about at the edge of the, my heat gun is at the top of the glide pin, and I'm going around the perimeter. And it's done moving on its own accord, and I'm putting my top down on it and counting 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Taking that off, and I have a pretty little bead. Next, we're going to shrink the leaf bead. And I'm going to be, that's going up to the beginning of hand forming. And I've got my little stick out and my block of wood and my container. And it doesn't need to fit in your container, because it will when it starts to shrink. There. Keeping the heat out around the perimeter. And then now putting heat on areas and helping it shrink. Might flip it over. I move, the shrink plastic will follow the heat source. There, it's done shrinking, moving on its own accord, and I'm going to flip it out so that I'm on the shiny side is up, and I'm putting the block on here, and I'm bringing up this little thing, the little sticks, and I'm fluting up my edges, and it cooled very quickly, so my edges are fluted up, and I like these edges fluted up because then when wearing it, these little guys won't get caught in your clothing. So next, I'm going to do the bail. And here's the top surface of that I'm going to be showcasing. So I'm going to roll my bail around this way to the back side. This here is going to be shiny, and I thought it'd be fun to have this frosted back there. So the side that I want to see right here, I'm going to be rolling the bail the opposite. If I wanted to see shiny, I'd roll my bail away from this surface. So I'm wanting to see the frosted, so I'm going to be rolling my bail this way. I'm just going to roll it over, and I'm going to use my hand forming kit and my gloves. It doesn't fit right away. That's okay. See if anything touched each other. It kind of was sticking a little, so I went in there and grabbed it. Pulled it apart. Looks like it's shrunk down. It's not moving on its own accord. I'm bringing it out. I'm going to place it this way and roll this way. Okay, there. Then I brought it out here, and I take my little block of wood and go like so on it, so I get a nice flat surface, and I've got my bail made. There we go. So that can be done without the heat warmer. It just, if it cools on you, don't force it, reheat it. All right, now I'm going to heat this little guy, and he's going to be very much like the leaves. But I'm going to show you something that I'm going to do. I'm going to place it kind of really quickly here because this is the direction I want it to go. You'll see. Going to use my bale to form it. Okay. I'm bringing this up here, and I used my bale. Well, it's already cooled, but you can use your fingers. I used my bale to form it because this here is going to go right here. Or I've got 2 holes to pick from, and I want my design to go that way. It also can be used this way. That's a nice design. So I used my form to make that. And now I want to double check that that form also will accept my flower. Great. Looks good. Okay, now we're going to go to assembling. So I've got my thread out and my E6000 and my beads to pick from. Pour these out. This here is the collection you want to set aside. Your 2 yellow beads, your 2 bronze beads, your 2 silver beads. I've already taken jump rings, and I've attached the lobster claw to an end cap and a jump ring to an end cap. So really quickly, this is how you open and close jump rings. Okay, so if I was putting something on, I would do it like so. So I'd already pre-done those. I'm going to show you this little assembly. This is our charm. I added a jump ring to the leaf. I exercised the option of using this fun little thing, and I stuck both these guys on here. And then, you don't have to do it this way. And this little charm is pre-done for you. And then I'm putting a jump ring right here, and that will attach to my shrink plastic. So that's that little assembly. Now, these are my beads that I get to play with here. And I'm going to use a beading needle. This is a number 10. And I'm putting it on my fire line. And like I said, I think the fire line is number 6, but you can use a number 8 on this too. Oh, that looks like it has something gunking up the needle hole. So the fire line doesn't go through it. And I'm guessing that this is a number 8, an 8-pound fire line. I put 6 pound in your kits. I had just grabbed this for the video. So you can use 8 if you want. And I've got a tail. I've given myself a tail. And then what I'm doing is, it looks like I'm missing a component. So I want to grab that component. It's right here. And you can start with this, and a seed bead. You can pick either size spacer bead, big one or small one, it doesn't matter. First thing I'm going to do is put on a seed bead. I'm slipping that on my tail. And then I'm running my bead needle through there. Going the same direction as my tail. Whoops, I made a mistake there. I'm not doing that. Sorry, ignore that. Let's start over. I've strung my my seed bead on there. I forgot. Now I'm putting my spacer bead on, and you can use either. If you need a large one, use a large one. I'm using the smaller. Now I'm taking this tail and running it through the silver too also. So it's following the path that I did with the thread, the needle and thread. And I'm going to give myself a little more of a tail here. I like about 3 inches there. So you see what I did? The blue bead is a stopper bead, and both lines go through the silver bead. Now I'm coming up through the back side. I'm going to come up through the back side of this, but I want to talk some options before I do this. I'm all set to go. So let's talk some options. We have a lot of different layouts we can do. We have 2 holes here. So if I go down here at this lower hole, I have the option of using this rhinestone piece there. It gives me room for it. I can't use the rhinestone if I want my design up higher, because it doesn't work. And so up higher, this is more of an option that I have for a more snug look. And then I've given you, if you don't, these little spacer beads, you'll have a couple of them, so they can be used in between here as little risers or decorative elements if you want them. Now, if I went down here and used my rhinestone and did something, I could even put this here if I wanted. I could do something like that, and then it's a little lower on the horizon, and I could put this here and put this one here. It would be double stringing. And I could do something like that. You would attach this to this upper hole the same way I'm going to show this attachment style coming up. But what I'm going to demo is using it up here, not using the rhinestone, using this configuration. And then I have also extra O-rings, because you've set aside your O-rings. I was going through this. Your pairs of O-rings get set aside here, so your extra ones get used over here. So let me go through that again. You had this goes on the necklace, your yellows, your silvers, your end caps, your bronzes, and 2 pairs of matching O-rings. They'll be different colors, but they'll be pairs that match. That gets set aside, so anything here is fair game to use. And if you want to use, that's why I put these extras in here, if you feel you need these guys because they give it a raised look and some stability. But we're also going to be using E6000 for that kind of stability too. So this is the layout I'm choosing to use. And a little green bead, and then I've started my stopper configuration. Okay? So I'm going to come up through, I'm utilizing this hole, not this one, but those are your options, and this would be the technique that you would use to attach anything. You would create a little stopper bead here, so you'd use both of them. This one here, you would use these 2 guys as your little stoppers if you're doing double layers. Doing double attachments, yeah, double layers. Okay, so what I'm doing now, brought that through, I'm putting E6000 on this, and the reason I'm putting the E6000 is it stops movement. And I've decided I don't want movement on this. These guys can swing, and that's fun if you want movement. But I want these to be stable. So, tails being unruly. And then I'm putting purple little whatever this guy is on there. He's like a tropical petal of some sort, some weird tropical flower. Then I'm coming through with the flower. I'm putting my sequin on. And yeah, I'm getting E6000 on my needle. I'm trying to use my fingers to wipe it off as I go. I'm putting my filigree on. And a purple bead. And the green bead. And this will be my stopper. So I bypass that. I don't go through it. I bypass it, skip it, and come down through the purple. Down through my whole sequence. All the way through. Keep going. I came through the silver, tightening, and I'm coming through the turquoise, and I'm bypassing the turquoise, pulling everything snug, bypassing the turquoise, pulling just a little bit to get my needle through this. And I'm going to follow my bead path again and go through this double. So I'm fishing for my holes. Coming up through my whole sequence. Pulling, kind of pulling it snug because I don't want to have some pulling problems. I don't want to have a hard time getting it snug, so I'm not leaving a lot of gaps. I'm kind of pulling as I go. Bypass the green and come on down through my sequence. I'm going to pull that tail, make sure that things are staying tight. And then I'm fishing my line through, coming up through my silver. That's my doggy whining. And then I'm bypassing the turquoise. And I'm going to pull everything as snug as I can. And I'm going to get this needle through the back. This is where it's hard. I'm going to have to loosen it a little to get the needle through the back side. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Once I see it, I can grab it. Not with the round nose pliers, but with my straight nose. But I don't see my straight nose pliers. Where did they go? Oh, they're right in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to grab that and just gently wiggle it through. Wiggle it through, wiggle it through. That is tight. That is tight. Whoa, that is really tight. Okay, let's tighten way up on our piece. Yay. Really nice, tight attachment. Worth the work to get it tight. If you can't go through twice, if you can't follow the path through twice like I did, and you find that too much of a struggle, once will be enough if you're using the E6000. So now we're going to do a surgeon's knot. We do our square knot. We come through with our tail. We wrap around a couple of times, and we pull twice tight. Then I'm going to do another one, around and around, pull tight, and a third. My little doggy's old, and he does have a lot of whining for no reason at all. He just got fed, so he got ground beef, so I don't know what his problem is. So anyhow, what I'm doing is taking my bead zapper and cutting my tail off. And I've got this adorable little pendant. Now, I had already attached all of these guys, so now all I have to do is put them on the hole. There. And so the back side's cute, and there's our little pendant, and I'm going to straighten it out so that the E6000 does dry straight, or my movement isn't a problem, but I put the glue on there because I did not want the movement. There. Now we're ready to do the last part, which is putting our cord on, and you will have a rubber cord. I think I'm using a leather cord here, and the problem with the leather is it needs to be nice and warm in order to stay nice and round. So I've moved over to using rubber instead. Now I'm going to, I already attached my lines here. So I'm putting the cord through here, and this will be your rubber cord. And you will measure this to make sure it's what you want. See, this wiggling stuff drives me crazy. Anyhow, we're going to do both sides. We're doing yellow, bronze. Save if you have two different size pairs like I'm showing right here, use the larger pair first, silver, and then always end with a smaller pair because that's your stopper pair. It fits really snug on the 3mm and will keep this sequence from sliding around. And then we do the other side. And where'd the bronze go? Bronze. I mean, you can do this with any sequence you want. I'm just make sure that you end with the small rubber O-ring so that it keeps these guys from sliding around. See? Now we're going to put our end pieces on, and once we get these on, I'm putting a nice amount here, and I'm putting them in here, and I'm making sure that's nice and full and wiping off any excess. And I kind of pump that back and forth. And turn it. Make sure it's nice and full. Now, I say give this 24 hours to cure, but it's usually good within 10 minutes to move around, and 20 minutes, it's setting up pretty well. But I don't like to wear my jewelry like this for at least 24 hours when I've used D6000. So that, my creatives, is our little bloom necklace, and putting some things away. Gonna blow our palette clean and lay it out so you can see how cute it is. And this is just, I'm going to make sure that everything's lined up so that it dries properly. And that's our little bloom necklace, and it's just very whimsical and detailed, and it all is in that hand forming. So this is one of my pieces, as I said, that you use hand forming. I'm going to come in closer so we can really look at that. And I want to thank you for joining me. And once again, please like and subscribe if you do enjoy my videos.